everyone, so today it's a foundation review. I've got the brand new Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation, but it's also a powder review because I've got this brand new one here from Rare Beauty. This is their True to Myself pressed powder, which is described as a finishing powder that does everything. So I'm really looking forward to showing you how this works. This will be my first time trying this powder, but I have actually tried the foundation once, so I filmed a wear test for you yesterday. So we'll try this on together and then look at that at the end of the video. Anyway, if you're new here, my name's Hannah and I'm 47, not a professional, just somebody who absolutely loves makeup and beauty. Here on my channel, I review new products, show you some of my favourite products and looks, and give you any beauty news I think you'd be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy that, please do like and subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for returning. I appreciate every single one of you so very much. And if you comment below, I do love to chat with you very much. I love getting to know everybody on my channel, but it's also super helpful to me when you do comment below. It really helps my channel to get seen on YouTube, beat this algorithm, which is really challenging these days. Anyway, let's get on with my video. So before I apply the foundation, which is a soft matte foundation, I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown cream first as my primer. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base, which is one of my favourites. It has probably the nicest scent of any cream primer I have ever used. It smells glorious. It is grapefruit and geranium that I'm smelling, and that really is such a refreshing, beautiful combination. I love it. This also has hyaluronic acid, squalane and shea butter, which makes it a perfect choice if you're looking for a moisturising base, which for quite a lot of products, if they're really thick or if they're particularly matte, or both, as the case probably is, then this is a sort of base that works really well for me. Managed to get in my hair there, fantastic. So here is the bottle for this foundation. It's a glass bottle. I really do like it. It's very solid, very smart, this nice sort of gold touch to it, and then the embossing here, I really do like it. Then obviously it's a pump, which is always the best. So this is £43 for 30 millilitres and you get 53 shades, so it is a huge shade range. Now with the shade match, I must admit I did struggle with this because the shade descriptions, I really wasn't sure, and because there's so many. Sorry, my lighting went off there, I don't know what happened. Where was I? Yes, my shade match. So yeah, I was very confused really because of the sort of broad choices with this. So what I did is on the Bobbi Brown website, you can have a shade match if you upload your picture. So if you click on shade match on the website, then it'll take you straight to using your camera, take a shot of your face, which needs to be in bright light, no makeup and natural light. And it will then recommend a shade. Now, because I've done this before and been given wrong shades, I went around the house trying all sorts of different places. So first of all, I tried the bathroom, which is quite a bright room for me in the morning with certain types of light. Then I used my summer room, which has very natural light coming in. And then I did outdoors. I got 3 different recommendations of all 3, and I basically went with the one that I thought looked the least yellow, because I've been finding when I go for pure neutral, my undertones are neutral, but they do lean a bit cool. When I go for just neutral these days, they do seem to be very yellow. I don't know if anyone else is finding that, but I'm finding it quite a lot. So I'm either going for one that says neutral cool, or I'm actually going for the cool because I'm finding it a little bit safer and it's a little bit less yellow. So the one I've gone for is Cool Sand. Now reading the description, I'm not sure I would have gone with this. It's called Light Beige with Pink Undertones for Light Skin. So I was reasonably happy with this match yesterday when I tried it for the first time, but you can see for yourself what you think. I think it's actually quite a good match. So this foundation is a long wear matte foundation delivering 24 hours of moisture and 24 hours of wear, giving you a natural matte finish that looks like skin and not makeup. Formulated with O Smart Skin Balancing Technology, a lightweight foundation formula which controls your oils all day without stripping the skin, delivering medium coverage that feels comfortable and breathable. And the oil absorbing ingredients, it has silicates in it to help control the oil and shine without stripping moisture, and the Tri Moisture Complex has hyaluronic acid, glycerin and honey extract to help boost the skin's moisture levels even along the dry areas, which for me sounds absolutely perfect actually, because I have pretty much dry skin everywhere apart from my T-zone, which can be quite oily. So if it can control the oils and give me the moisture I need, then that's a perfect balance for me. It also says that this is waterproof, sweat and humidity resistant, transfer resistant, fade resistant, crease resistant, non-caking and reducing the look of pores. I didn't actually check the transfer, so I'll get a tissue out ready so we can check that after my application. So I'll put a pump of this onto the back of my hand so you can see it's in between being pretty thick and pretty runny. My rule of thumb when it comes to applying foundations with different densities is I use a sponge when it's really thick and I use a brush when it's really runny, and that seems to give me the perfect application. This one I'd say is somewhere in the middle, so for that reason I'm going to do a sponge application this side and a brush application that side. So using my BK Beauty 101, I pretty much patted all of that into the back of my hand. And I'm just going to start patting it on, and I'm going to use a patting motion because I've used such a moisturising base. I definitely find that's better than brushing it on. So now let's have a look at the nose area where I have so much redness. I've got less on my brush as I reach the nose area because that helps to stop it from caking in that area, which is my severe caking zone. And you can see the skin match is actually perfect. I think it's perfect. So I'd say it's giving me, with that one pump, and that is one whole pump on this bit here, I haven't even done the forehead, it is giving me medium, but leaning towards light medium coverage, I would say, which is probably just about enough for me if I want to prevent caking issues. So I'll just put another half a pump on the back of my hand. I'm rubbing it into my hand. I'll just show you how much I really do rub it in before taking it onto the brush, and then start patting on. It's corrected all the redness in my forehead. I've started testing out a new device. It's a radio frequency device, and I tried it for the first time yesterday, so my skin is a little bit more red today. So it's got a bit more work to do. And then about a third of a pump, I'd say, on the back of my hand to see if I can just build up a little bit more here, where I'd like a little bit more coverage. And yes, you can see it's definitely a buildable formula. This is the only area that I can build without having any issues. If I build nose, chin, well, I can build here as well, actually. It's when I go into my T-zone. If I build, that's when the caking issues happen. So if I just stick to this area, which is where, luckily enough, I want the build, it seems to work quite nicely. Now I think this is applied beautifully on top of that base. Yesterday it did too. I didn't use the same primer yesterday. I used the Danessa Myorex Glowy Serum and it worked very nicely on top of that. But I must say, I think it might actually be working a tiny bit better today using that. So they work beautifully together, don't they? So I think that's a really nice finish. What do you think of that? I really think it's very nice, very natural looking. No caking anywhere. Really pleased. So now another pump on the back of the hand, and now I'm using a sponge, doing exactly the same thing, just really patting it into the back of my hand, working it into the sponge, and then starting in the middle. Never start on the nose first. That's when you add too much product to the nose, and then when you have caking later, that's why. It's not the fault of the product, it's because you started in the centre there. So start right by here, and then when the sponge is starting to have less product on it, then move to the nose. You see all the redness on my nose completely goes. So this is doing a very good job of correcting my redness. You can see I've got quite a red chin there. And there, it's done another very good job on the chin area. Normally when I try brush or sponge, I can see almost instantly that I prefer one over the other. But with this one, I'm not sure I can. The sponge application is usually a bit lighter, but I don't know, I think it's pretty much doing the same job. When you look at the way it's covered the redness this side using the sponge, I think it's giving me a very similar finish. So on that basis, just because I think a sponge is easier and quicker, I'd probably go with a sponge. But from what I'm seeing, I think I'd be very happy either way. So now let's build up a little bit more here, where I want that extra coverage again. I'm not sure it's building up as nicely with the sponge actually as it did here. So maybe the brush is better now I've just said they're the same. Tiny bit. Yeah, I think maybe the brush is needed for the building up, because I think maybe using a sponge, going in with the next layer, might actually remove the bottom layer a bit. So I'm going to take, yeah, see how that immediately covered it. Okay, so you could start with the sponge and finish with the brush, but why complicate life if the brush does everything in one go? So forget what I just said about the sponge being as good. I think the brush is better, especially when it's the BK Beauty 101. Best foundation brush I've ever used in my life. So there we have both sides now fully covered with this, and I absolutely love the finish on this. If I give you a close-up, my trouble zones for caking are not showing any signs of caking. It's not settling into these lines here. It's not emphasising any pores. It's giving me a very smooth and very natural finish. Now for a matte foundation, I love the fact that this feels natural and I've still got a glow. I just noticed a hair on my face there, which I'm just going, I've removed and I'm patting over. So if in that close-up you saw that, please ignore that. Yeah, I love the way this is finishing. I think it is beautiful. So I'll just go off and do my concealer, and then we can set it using the new Rare Beauty powder. So I've added my concealer, and I'm also using a liquid bronzer and contour. So I've got lots of things that need to be set. Everything has sat really nicely on top of the foundation. Nothing has changed in the way of whether it's caking. It's all working beautifully at the moment. I'm still testing out the Danessa Myricks new Yummy Skin Concealer, and I'm still loving it as much as I was when I first tried it here on my channel. So yeah, everything's working beautifully. Anyway, let's move on to the Rare Beauty powder. Now, isn't this the cutest little thing you've ever seen? This actually came free with my purchase. I ordered mine in the UK from Space NK. They do seem to launch Space NK the same day as Rare Beauty, so that's a note for anyone ordering in the UK, because I did make the mistake once of ordering direct from Rare Beauty on a new release day, and it took about 2 weeks to get to me, whereas Space NK launched it the same day and it can be delivered the next day, and this did come the day after ordering. So very quick delivery with Space NK. I'm not sure if you're in the US how quick you can get it from Rare Beauty, but hopefully you can have services like we have with Space NK, maybe Sephora, I'm not sure to be honest, that will give you next day delivery. If you do know that, if you could pop it in the comments, that could be very helpful to other subscribers who might be curious. So anyway, this was free with purchase on the Space NK website if you spend over £50 on Rare Beauty. So I topped up on some new brushes I wanted. Not new, but brushes I wanted. Brought it up to £50 and I got this free. But if you wanted to buy this case, it's only £12 and it's just the cutest little thing. It's just like this little puffy bag. I love it. And I will always be keeping it in this bag because I just want the experience of opening it and using it. It is just so cute. And I also picked up 2 of these. Now these are £15 and you get 2 of them. Nice shape. I like the fact that it's this diamond shape so that you've got that tip to get into all the angles of the face. Lovely and soft. And now for the powder. Again, such a cute case. I just, look at it. Just love it. I don't know if you've seen, they launched a lovely travel bag, and they've launched a miniature one, like a puff tote, I think, what is it called, a puff bag, anyway, on a key ring, and I've ordered those from the Rare Beauty website. I will show you them when I get them. Totally unnecessary purchase, but they were just so cute. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So let's look at this. This has a nice stand-up mirror, fairly good size, perfect for checking up on things during the day if you keep this in your handbag. This really is a very neat little compact. I went for the lightest shade, which is Porcelain, and Porcelain says it's light with neutral undertones, so it should be ideal for me. It could be a little bit too light, but the next one up looked a bit yellow, so I decided to stick with this. So this is described as a weightless tinted powder that does it all. It instantly blurs, smooths, reduces shine and sets your makeup with a natural finish that stays true to you and your skin. It's talc free and it gives a diffused cloud effect that lets radiance filter through, which would be good because I'm getting quite a bit of radiance from the liquid products I've added onto the foundation. And it says it will layer seamlessly and undetectably over bare skin or makeup. So it says you can try this even on bare skin. So I'm not sure I would add powder to bare skin personally, but anyway. So this is a major multitasker, super silky tinted powder. It also says you can use this over your concealer. So could be, I will try that today. I will set under the eyes with this. I'm not sure if it would work as the colour, but we'll see. Maybe a bit too deep, but it is quite light, the porcelain, so we'll see. And it says it will deliver a flexible coverage with a lit from within finish. So maybe if you wanted to go for a no makeup day, you could have something like a tinted moisturiser and then just this, and you'd get a bit more coverage than the tinted moisturiser because this should give you a little bit of coverage too. It does say that it's a buildable coverage and still breathable, but always looking natural. It should visibly reduce shine but let the glow through and lightly mattify the skin, keeping it fresh but never flat. This should not dry your skin and should not clog your pores. It should leave you photo friendly with no flashback. Made for all skin types, even dry and combination skin. So sounds perfect for me, to be honest. And there's 14 different flexible shades they're described as, and each one is created to cover a wide range of skin tones. So the next one up from Porcelain is Ivory, which is light with warm undertone, which is why I didn't get it, that's why it looked yellow. Then Natural is the next one, which is light medium with cool undertone. So that's immediately way too deep. So I had to go for Porcelain. It was pretty much the only option for me. So if you're light skinned with warm undertones, you want Ivory. And then it goes right the way up to, let me look. The deepest shade is Espresso, deep with neutral undertones. So it's a really good selection of undertones. Sorry, Florrie, my dog, if you don't know this channel, she's doing what she does. So I'm going to start by trying on one side under the eye. So I'm just going to pat my concealer in to make sure that it's not building up in any of the lines and creases there. And that's how it is looking on there. I don't think I'd need to tap that off, to be honest. So I'll tap a bit off just in case. And now I'm going to go under the eye here. Now, notoriously, these sorts of powders don't look very good for me. They just exaggerate lines, which I think that might have done a bit, to be honest. Look how I've got like lines there, which they're not visible at the moment here. Do you see what I mean? You can see like lines there. You can't see them this side, but you can see them straight away on the side that I powdered. I don't know if that's coming up on camera, but it's starting to settle down actually and look a bit less obvious, so I'm not going to judge that yet. Now let's go over here. When I do this side, I'm going to pat off quite a bit more to see if it looks a bit better, and this side is my trouble side. I tend to crease up more. So it's definitely blurring, but it is definitely exaggerating lines a bit there. So we'll see what it does on the rest of the face. Hopefully that's going to sort itself out. So let's do this. I'm going to do one side of the face, I think. So you can see the sort of glow I've got on my cheek at the moment. So this should soft and naturally mattify, which it's doing very well actually. Oh, I like that, you know. Now one area I need to be really careful with powder is around here. If I put too much, it can ruin the look of the foundation and it can really cake up a lot in the evening. So what I'm doing now is I'm tapping off quite a lot. So I've got a tiny bit on the puff. I'm going to go around there and that's all I'm going to put on. That is really nice. Really, really nice. I love how natural that looks. Right, so now my forehead. You can see the shine. Obviously my lights make the shine look much worse, they really do. So you can see this huge shine on my forehead. So let's see, if you were having, say, a photo shoot today, just say, and you wanted to look shine free, will this now completely remove all this shine? even under bright lights. Let's look. And the answer to that is yes. So this side with and this side without. You see the difference? And it is quite a natural finish. It's not feeling, I can't see the powder on my face at all. I can't feel it, I can't see it. It's exactly what it says. Completely like it's not there. I have gone in very lightly and I have been tapping off on my hand. When I say tapping off, what I tend to do is I swipe it in there and I just put the puff on the back of my hand to make sure I don't have too much. So now I think those lines that were showing up have actually become less prominent, so maybe it just needed time to be absorbed. I'm liking it everywhere, under the eyes, everywhere. There's no caking, no exaggeration of pores or texture. In fact, it's smooth and blurred, but so naturally. Like, honestly, you would not know, would you, that I've got anything on there. It's not visible. There's just no trace of caking or powder on my face at all, even in this area, which it always shows up in for me. And yesterday, when I first tested the Bobbi Brown foundation, I did use a different powder. It's actually the Vive powder. I probably did put too much though, because the Vive powder is nice, but I think that it just affected the way that the foundation looks in this area. So I think I'm going to get a much better day today with my foundation than yesterday, because these two together, this foundation with this powder, they work really nicely. So now I'll powder this side. So this time I'm patting off a bit before, oh wait a minute. Need to do this first. So this is my trouble under eye. This bit here often looks terrible when powdered down, so let's see what happens. So I've patted off and now I'm going to go in with this powder here. Extremely light. Oh, that looks good, you know. Patting off was definitely the way forward for me there. So a tiny amount of powder and really pressing in, which is the best way I find for applying powders under the eyes. And one thing I'm doing now is taking a little brush. I'm actually using this one, which I use all the time from BK Beauty, the 207. I should remember. It's 204 and 207 I use a lot, so I get the two confused. I'll just go over there to really blend that powder in, because that's where it tends to settle into lines. I mean, I will need to compare this with my Givenchy side by side to see if it's as good, but I'm very pleased with it, considering normally these powders don't work well for me under the eyes. So now do the rest of my face. Got quite a lot of shine here where I've got quite a lot of texture visible as well. I don't know if that's going to come up on camera, but I do have quite a lot of texture visible there. So I just zoomed you in so you can see this being applied on the forehead, where I've got quite a lot of texture and a lot of shine there. Hopefully that's showing up a bit better now I've zoomed in. So let's see how that looks when the powder goes on. There. See the texture and shine? It's just gone, but in a very natural way. You cannot detect powder. Now you can still see a bit of shine, which is what it promised. Put a tiny bit more there. And obviously you can top up during the day. Yeah, look what that has done. Really, really good. I'm going to put a little bit more in the cheek area here. Well, I'm really impressed. What a success with both of those. They work together so nicely as well. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try this powder out over the next few weeks, and I can give you an update. What's the date today though? I think I can probably include this in my end of month updates, because that gives me enough time. So I think what I'll do over the next week at least is try this out against my Givenchy, against my Pat McGrath, and see if it's as good under the eyes, because I want to let you know if it's matching up. It might not be quite as good as Pat McGrath or Givenchy under the eyes, but everywhere else at the moment, I'd say it's fantastic. It's up there with my Givenchy. It's not giving me the brightness from Givenchy because it's got that colour, but it just gives you that perfect natural finish. Absolutely love it. Really impressed. Anyway, I'm going to go on and do the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back and show you how everything is sitting on top of what I've tried on today so far. So I've now got on a full face of makeup sitting on top of this foundation and powder, and I'm still extremely happy with everything. The foundation has been on for over an hour now, and there's no settling into lines here. There's no sign of caking whatsoever, even in my trouble area around the nose. I did forget to do the transfer test and I've powdered over it, but I did actually apply foundation there. I always go slightly under the neck, so I'm going to try it there where there is no powder. I should have done it. I should have just not powdered one section really, but anyway, this will give me that answer if anything comes off. So let's have a look. Nope, it's come off clean. So the transfer proof claim, let's try the other side, seems to be correct. Nope, clean again. So that's great. Now I'll just show you my check-in from yesterday. So that was after 8 hours of wearing it yesterday. So here's that clip for you. So this is an 8-hour check-in now with the Bobbi Brown foundation. And there have been quite a lot of caking issues, unfortunately. Specifically this area, I'm not sure if it'll come up on camera. If I come up closer, can you see around the nose? It's literally worn off and caked a bit. It doesn't look very good at all there. And I've also got quite a bit of that going on around here and around here. It looked okay up until about the 6-hour mark. But one thing I did do is I did use a powder that is a bit heavy. So I'm going to try a different powder tomorrow. So maybe it'll be different. So when I try it tomorrow in my video, which will be today when you're watching this, I will put an update in the comments at the top to let you know if the caking situation was a bit better, because overall I love the look of this. I love the way it applied. I love the way it looks, but I am getting a bit of caking. But one thing about my chin, it is looking a little bit red here, but I'm going to totally ignore that. This happens with so many foundations, and I did have a salad today. It always seems to happen to me on foundation wear test days, but I had a salad that had so much dressing going all over the place. I was really struggling and I had to dab my chin a few times with a tissue. So no foundation is going to do well with that, let's face it. So, I mean, these sorts of areas of the face, the outer areas are fine. But yeah, around the nose and around here, it's not particularly filling up here in the smile lines. It's not too bad, but I'm not massively happy. This is not the way it's looking. It's not a foundation I'd put on first thing in the morning and think I'll be fine until late into the evening. This is one I'd want to take off and redo if I was going back out. It's not good enough for me. This is not something I'd want to touch up, because I know trying to touch up on top of caking issues just causes more caking issues for me. I would have to actually remove and reapply this area here. So I will try a different powder and I will be trying a different primer, but for the first 6 hours, beautiful, but not any further, sadly. So as you can see from that clip, after 6 hours, it did start to really look dreadful in this area. But as I said earlier, I did use a different powder that's a lot stronger and a lot thicker and sitting more heavily on the skin. This powder is sitting much more lightly. So what I'm going to do, I want to get this video out for you today, so I'm going to get on with the upload and edit now, and that'll take me a few hours. When I upload it, I can put a little update then, so I can tell you how many hours in it's looking. So it's 1 hour now. I'll probably upload this in about 5 hours, so it'll be a 6-hour check-in. So I can put on the screen here how this is looking after 6 hours with this powder, because that's when it started to go yesterday. And I will also pin a note to the top of the comments telling you how this looked last thing in the evening. The latest check-in I can do, I'll put a note saying after X amount of hours this area looked the same as yesterday, as in it looked awful or it looked fine. So it'll be interesting to see after 6 hours if it looks like this, because it was starting to disintegrate by then. So I'm hoping, and I do think the powder looked heavy when I put it on yesterday, whereas today it doesn't. It really doesn't. It looks so much better. So I've gone in with a very light amount in my trouble zone, but also I'm using this new one from Rare Beauty, which is absolutely beautiful. I am super impressed with it. And I'm very impressed with this foundation. I love the way it looks. I love the way it covers. It looked beautiful even on my real trouble zones. I'm happy with the match, the shade match, and I'm really happy with the powder. I'm really happy with both. The only slight niggle I've got at the moment is with the powder in the corner there. I do feel like, is it emphasizing crease a little bit? I just don't know if I'm being picky because I'm really looking at it. I do need to check that. So that is definitely something you will need to check in my updates video at the end of the month, how I feel about using it under the eyes. And this is a mature skin thing, so if you're watching this and you're under 40, you might find that you have absolutely no problems, because this problem in this tiny area here is quite new, and I'm 47, so it might not be a problem. But it's certainly not emphasizing any lines there or anywhere else. It's very smooth, really nice, and maybe it looks fine. I really don't know if I'm being picky. Anyway, so that's all from me for today. I really do hope that you found this video helpful, and if you've picked up this foundation or this powder, I'd love to hear from you, or if you're thinking of it, what are your thoughts on it? I'm really impressed, and I think the prices on the Rare Beauty actually is really good value. And I mean, you cannot get anything more cute. Where's it gone? Where's my bag? There it is. You just cannot get anything more cute than that. I just love it. And I am a sucker for packaging. I do buy things because I like packaging, I must admit, which I'm not going to tell you should do by any means, because it's probably really silly. But how cute. Love it. Anyway, that's all from me. And I hope to see all of you for my next video. If you're not already subscribed, I'd like it so much if you did. And if you already are, thank you so much for staying to the end of my video. And thank you so much for your support. It really means the world to me. Take care, everybody. Bye.